Jonathan, and I have the profound honor of portraying Jesus in The Chosen. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you, not just for your support in watching the show, but for something just as vital to me personally, your prayers. Playing this role has been the most humbling experience of my life, and filming season 6 and the crucifixion, well, it's clear that that has been the most intense journey of my career. Every day on set, I'm reminded that we're not just making a television show, we're shepherding something sacred into the world, the most important story ever told. And knowing that people like you are lifting up this work in prayer, well, that means everything to me. So thank you for being part of the community that is lifting us all up as we portray the most important moments in human history. God bless you. The prophetic message for November 2026 carries a profound assurance for seniors, revealing that this specific window in time is marked for divine renewal. Many seniors quietly carry the weight of years, experiences, memories, victories, and losses, and often feel as though their strongest days are behind them. Yet this prophecy turns that belief upside down. Jesus highlights that this week is not about decline, it is about restoration, refreshing, and rediscovery. Renewal is not only a possibility but a promise. It conveys that God is not finished with them, that the next chapter has divine significance, and that age does not limit spiritual impact or heavenly purpose. This renewal is both inward and outward, touching the heart, mind, body, and spirit. It brings a refreshing wind that awakens dreams once thought forgotten. Seniors who feel overlooked or underestimated will realize that heaven has had its eyes on them the entire time. This divine renewal is not a random event, it is intentional. During this week, seniors may begin sensing a stirring within, an inner strength rising where weakness once lived, an unexpected clarity of thought, or a sudden peace that feels deeper than anything they've felt in years. Some may find themselves reconnecting with God in ways they didn't expect through prayer, through scripture, through moments of reflection, or even through memories that suddenly feel alive with meaning. Renewal often begins subtly, like the gentle warmth of sunlight after a long night. It is not about returning to youth, but stepping into spiritual maturity in a new and powerful way. Jesus uses this week to restore what has been drained, whether it's energy, faith, or hope. It is a divine reminder that their spirit is still capable of growth, still capable of vision, still capable of receiving new instructions. Many seniors underestimate how deeply God treasures their years of experience, faithfulness, and endurance. In this prophecy, Jesus reveals that he sees every prayer whispered in the night, every moment of perseverance, every sacrifice made, for family, for community, for faith. This renewal week transforms that unseen history into strength for the present. Seniors who believed their influence was fading will realize that they carry a spiritual authority that younger generations need. This renewal is not only for their benefit but also for those around them. When God strengthens a senior, he strengthens an entire household. Their wisdom becomes sharper. Their voice gains weight. Their presence carries peace. And this week invites them to step into that realization with confidence. The renewal also touches the emotional heart. Many seniors silently carry losses that younger people may not understand. Loss of loved ones, loss of opportunities, loss of health, or loss of roles that once defined them. Jesus uses this prophetic period to reveal that even though seasons change, his purpose for them does not fade. Renewal means healing from grief that still aches after years. It means releasing the emotional heaviness that has been quietly shaping their days. It means forgiving themselves for what they didn't know then but understand now. It means discovering that joy is still possible, still reachable, and still meant for them. Spiritually, this renewal opens forgotten or unused gifts. Seniors often assume their spiritual peak was in earlier years, when they served more actively, worshiped more passionately, or had faith that felt stronger. Yet this prophecy announces that their spiritual gifts are not dormant. They have simply been waiting. Waiting for maturity, waiting for wisdom, waiting for humility, waiting for this exact season. During November 2026, they may feel sudden insight, deeper intuition, or a stronger connection to God's voice. It may come through dreams, reflections, or moments that feel divinely timed. This spiritual renewing positions them as vessels God can use in new and impactful ways, especially through prayer. The prayers of seniors carry extraordinary depth because they come from a lifetime of walking with God through valleys and victories. Finally, this renewal aligns seniors with hope. Many seniors quietly wonder how much time they have left, what awaits them, and whether their life has truly mattered. Jesus answers these questions through a renewing fire that brings assurance. The message is clear: as long as they have breath, they have purpose. As long as they wake up, God is still writing through them. The renewal of this prophetic week breaks the lie of insignificance and replaces it with divine identity. It lifts their eyes from the past and anchors them in that their impact is still unfolding. It turns everyday moments into meaningful ones and transforms their heart into fertile ground for new beginnings. Through this renewal, seniors discover that God has saved some of their greatest strengths, insights, and blessings for this exact season of life. The prophetic message for November 2026 carries a deep and liberating promise for seniors: the breaking of long-standing burdens. Many people reach their later years feeling weighed down by emotional memories, spiritual struggles, unresolved regrets, or even physical limitations that have accumulated over time. These burdens often linger quietly in the background of daily life, influencing thoughts, shaping behavior, and creating a heaviness that is not always visible to others. Jesus uses this prophetic window to address those hidden weights directly. This week becomes a sacred moment where God reaches into the heart and begins lifting emotional loads that may have been carried for decades. It is not simply about relief. It is about freedom, release, and finally letting go of what was never meant to define the rest of their journey. The breaking of burdens during this period begins with a divine awareness. Seniors may suddenly recognize parts of their life that have been draining them without realizing it. They may notice emotional patterns tied to old disappointments, memories that still hurt, or habits of thinking shaped by fear, guilt, or self-doubt. Jesus brings these burdens into the light not to overwhelm them, but to set them free. This revelation can feel like a gentle awakening, an inner voice telling them that they no longer need to carry what has been silently hurting them. What once felt too heavy to confront now feels easier to release because God Himself is involved. This is the week when the spiritual weight begins to lift, layer by layer, as Jesus touches areas that need healing. Some burdens seniors carry are connected to relationships, family tensions, misunderstandings, or strained connections with children, siblings, or old friends. Over time, unresolved conflicts can settle in the heart like stones, creating emotional distance even when love remains. This prophetic period highlights the opportunity for forgiveness, reconciliation, or simply inner peace when reconciliation isn't possible. Jesus whispers to the heart that forgiveness is not about excusing the past, but freeing the soul. Burdens tied to relationships begin to crumble as seniors let go of bitterness, regret, or disappointment. Even if nothing changes outwardly, the internal shift can be profound. They begin to breathe easier. Their hearts feel lighter. Their thoughts are clearer. God transforms long-carried pain into quiet strength. There are also burdens tied to personal identity. Seniors may feel they didn't achieve certain dreams, didn't become who they hoped to be, or made mistakes that still shadow their memories. The prophetic message for this week releases them from the weight of self-judgment. Jesus reminds them that their worth has never depended on accomplishments, perfection, or comparison. He sees their heart, their endurance, their compassion, their resilience. Many seniors judge themselves harshly for what they did or didn't do, but during this week God invites them into grace. The burden of regret is broken as they realize their story still matters and their journey is not defined by the past. This spiritual release allows them to finally accept themselves with kindness, understanding, and the same mercy that God offers. Physical burdens also come into focus. While aging often brings limitations, the weight of fear associated with health challenges can be heavier than the challenges themselves. This prophecy brings a sense of calm, an assurance that they are not facing their physical struggles alone. Jesus brings strength into their spirit that empowers them to face each day with courage rather than fear. Though this is not promising physical perfection, it is promising spiritual resilience. Sometimes the greatest burden is not the illness itself, but the anxiety attached to it. During this week, that anxiety begins to loosen its grip. Seniors may feel a renewed trust that God is watching over them, guiding them, and sustaining them in ways they may not see but can deeply feel. The breaking of burdens also means releasing societal pressures. Seniors often feel like they need to stay strong for everyone else, suppressing their own struggles to avoid worrying their families. Jesus uses this period to remind them that asking for help, seeking comfort, or admitting vulnerability does not weaken them. It frees them. They don't have to carry everything alone anymore. The weight of pretending, enduring silently, or holding back emotions begins to dissolve. This freedom gives them permission to be honest with themselves and with God, creating space for healing and peace. Most importantly, the prophecy reveals that breaking burdens is not a single moment, but a spiritual process. As seniors surrender their heaviness, Jesus replaces it with peace that settles deeply in the soul. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once felt permanent begins to fade. They may find themselves sleeping better, thinking more clearly, or feeling emotionally lighter without fully understanding how. This is the work of God restoring balance, strength, and rest. During November 2026, seniors step into a new chapter of inner freedom. Burdens that have shaped their identity for years begin to lose their power. The weight of the past loosens its grip, making room for hope, clarity, and renewal. Through this divine breaking, Jesus shows them that they are not defined by what they have carried. They are defined by the strength, courage, and faith that helped them carry it. The prophetic message for November 2026 brings a powerful revelation centered on the restoration of identity and purpose for seniors. As people grow older, society often shifts its attention away from them, unintentionally creating the sense that their most meaningful contributions are behind them. Many seniors internalize this message, believing their purpose has faded or that their identity has become tied only to age, routine, or past roles. This prophecy directly challenges those beliefs. Jesus shines a light on the truth that purpose does not expire with time, and that identity in God remains active, evolving, and deeply significant. This week becomes a spiritual awakening for seniors who have forgotten how valued they truly are. It becomes a reminder that heaven still sees them, still calls them, and still needs them. Restoration of identity begins with rediscovering who they are beyond the roles they once held. Some dedicated their lives to family, careers, or service, and now find themselves feeling disconnected from the version of themselves they used to be. This prophecy invites them to recognize that their identity is not tied to productivity, youth, or how others see them. Instead, it is anchored in their journey, resilience, and relationship with God. Jesus uses this week to gently peel away the labels society has placed on them and reveal the truth they are still learners, leaders, warriors of faith, carriers of wisdom, and vessels of divine insight. Their age is not a decline, it is a refinement. Their experiences are not just memories, they are equipping tools. Their identity is not diminished, it is richer than ever. For many seniors, purpose becomes blurry when life slows down. They may ask themselves whether they still matter, whether they still have something to offer, whether anyone still needs their voice or presence. The prophetic message addresses these silent questions with clarity. Jesus reveals that seniors carry a purpose that younger generations cannot fulfill. Their decades of faith, experience, and prayer have given them spiritual authority and understanding that cannot be taught quickly. The purpose they carry involves guiding, influencing, interceding, and spreading peace. In this prophetic week, seniors begin to sense a deeper calling stirring within them. It may appear as renewed creativity, unexpected ideas, stronger intuition, or a fresh desire to help others. God activates purpose by awakening dormant gifts, reminding them that the impact of a senior is unique and powerful. This restoration also includes healing from identity wounds. Over the years, seniors may have been told, directly or indirectly, that they are no longer needed, that their ideas are outdated, or that they are simply old. Such messages can quietly reshape how they see themselves. Jesus steps into that wounded space and speaks truth where lies have settled. The prophecy reveals that seniors hold a depth of character, compassion, and strength that has been built through decades of surviving storms, celebrating victories, and enduring trials. Their identity is not old, it is seasoned. Not irrelevant, highly needed. Not fading, transforming. This week brings a shift in the way they view themselves. They begin to see that their life story has carved wisdom into their spirit, making them uniquely capable of offering guidance, comfort, an insight that no one else can give. The restoration of identity and purpose also strengthens seniors' spiritual awareness. Many have walked with God long enough to know His voice, His timing, and His patterns. This season enhances that sensitivity. They may begin to hear God more clearly or feel His presence more consistently. They may receive spiritual nudges that inspire them to step into small acts of kindness, prayer, or mentorship. Jesus uses this period to remind them that their spiritual journey is not ending. It is deepening. They are entering a new level of spiritual maturity, where their walk with God becomes even richer. Their purpose becomes more defined, not through outward activity, but through inward alignment. They begin to understand that who they are spiritually carries influence in their family, community, and even in unseen spiritual places. This prophetic week also brings restoration through legacy. Many seniors wonder what lasting impact their life will have. Jesus reveals that their purpose is not only in what they do, but in what they leave behind: faith, values, lessons, love. Legacy is not measured by grand achievements, but by seeds planted quietly over time. Seniors begin to see how their journey has shaped their children, grandchildren, friends, and communities. They recognize that even their struggles have produced fruit in the lives of others. This awareness restores confidence, joy, and fulfillment, letting them know their life has mattered deeply and continues to matter. During this prophetic window, seniors may feel an unusual sense of clarity. Moments from their past may come into focus, not as regrets, but as pieces of a greater story. They may understand their own path more clearly and feel peace about the twists and turns that once confused them. This clarity is part of the restoration of identity, seeing themselves the way God sees them, not the way time or society has described them. They step into a renewed understanding of their worth, their voice, and their spiritual authority. As this week unfolds, seniors rediscover that they are not on the sidelines of life. They are on the front lines of spiritual influence. They are not forgotten, they are chosen. They are not at the end. They are entering a meaningful new chapter. Through this restoration, they realize that their identity in God is strong and their purpose is still unfolding in powerful ways. The prophetic message for November 2026 extends beyond seniors themselves and flows outward into their families, becoming a source of encouragement, covering, and blessing. Jesus reveals that this week is not only a moment of renewal for seniors, but also a time when their presence, prayers, and spiritual authority become a powerful influence on everyone connected to them. Many seniors underestimate how deeply they impact the people around them. They assume their role has diminished, yet in the spiritual realm their presence carries weight, stability, and guidance. This prophecy highlights that families will experience peace, clarity, and even breakthrough because of the spiritual strength and wisdom seniors carry. The influence of a senior is not confined to their own life, it ripples through generations. Families often look to seniors for emotional grounding, even if they never say it. Their quiet observations, their stories, their resilience, and their ability to remain calm through life's storms make them a source of comfort. During this prophetic period, Jesus magnifies these qualities, allowing seniors to become pillars of peace. Household tensions may soften. Confusion may turn into understanding. Strained relationships may open paths toward healing simply because the senior maintains a spirit of steadiness and prayer. Their presence becomes a spiritual anchor, guiding the family through challenges with a sense of assurance that comes from experience and faith. Even if the senior feels physically tired or emotionally drained, the spiritual strength within them radiates outward, blessing everyone around them. One of the most powerful aspects of this prophecy is the role of seniors as intercessors. Their prayers hold unique authority because they come from decades of walking with God, learning His faithfulness, and surviving life's ups and downs. During November 2026, seniors may feel a stronger desire to pray for their children, grandchildren, siblings, or extended family. They may wake up with a specific person on their heart or feel urged to speak blessings over loved ones. Their prayers act like spiritual shields, pushing back negativity, confusion, and fear. Jesus uses their intercession to open doors for family members who may be struggling silently. Even if family members do not understand what is happening, they will feel the effects. A subtle calmness, a sudden breakthrough, a shift in attitude, a sense of being protected. Generation gaps often create distance, especially between seniors and younger family members who live in a fast-paced world. This prophecy bridges those gaps. It creates moments of connection, understanding, and communication that feel divinely timed. A conversation may unfold naturally, bringing clarity where there was misunderstanding. A young family member may unexpectedly seek advice, comfort, or wisdom. Seniors may find opportunities to share life lessons that carry spiritual meaning. These interactions are not accidental, they are spiritual assignments. Jesus uses seniors to plant seeds of wisdom and faith in younger hearts, seeds that may grow long after the senior's lifetime. The family becomes stronger because the senior shares not just experiences but spiritual insight. This prophetic week also brings emotional healing within families. Many seniors carry hurt or guilt about past mistakes involving their children or loved ones. Likewise, some families carry misunderstandings or unresolved emotions tied to the senior. Jesus uses this period to soften hearts on both sides. Seniors may feel inspired to express love more openly, apologize if needed, or offer forgiveness where wounds still linger. Families may feel compelled to show appreciation, spend more time, or express feelings they have withheld. The atmosphere becomes one of reconciliation, compassion, and renewed connection. The prophecy lifts emotional barriers that have been in place for years, allowing relationships to breathe again. As seniors step into this role, families begin to recognize their value in deeper ways. The younger generation may see the senior not just as an elder, but as a source of spiritual legacy. They begin to notice how much wisdom the senior carries, how much strength they've demonstrated over a lifetime, and how deeply their presence matters. This awareness brings new respect, gratitude, and closeness. The family starts leaning into the senior for moral grounding, emotional security, and spiritual direction. This shift strengthens the family unit and creates a foundation built on love and stability. Financial, emotional, or personal worries that families face may also find relief during this prophetic week. Jesus uses the faith of seniors to guide family members toward better decisions. A simple conversation or piece of advice from the senior may lead someone toward healing, opportunity, or clarity. Even without words, the senior's peaceful presence changes the emotional climate of the home. Their faith acts as a quiet but powerful reminder that God is in control. Most importantly, this prophecy reveals that seniors are carriers of blessing. Their life stories, their endurance, their prayers, and their love create a spiritual covering over their entire family. During November 2026, that covering strengthens. Families feel protected, guided, and uplifted because of the senior's connection with God. The week becomes a time of divine alignment, where the blessings flowing to the senior overflow into the lives of everyone around them. The prophetic message for November 2026 carries a powerful invitation for seniors to step into a deeper spiritual awakening. This period is highlighted as a time when their connection with God becomes more vivid, more personal, and more transformative. Many seniors have spent years building their faith, praying through challenges, and navigating life with a spiritual compass. Yet this prophecy reveals that there is still another level waiting for them. A renewed intimacy with God that awakens gifts, sharpens discernment, and fills their heart with peace. This week becomes a sacred window where the spiritual realm feels closer, more present, and more active. Seniors may find themselves more sensitive to God's voice, more aware of His presence, and more open to His guidance. Spiritual awakening does not mean dramatic experiences. It often begins quietly. Seniors may feel a gentle pull toward prayer more than usual, a desire to read Scripture with new curiosity, or a stronger sense of calm even during moments of uncertainty. Thoughts that were once scattered may become clearer. Decisions that felt confusing may suddenly feel simple. Jesus uses this period to realign their heart and mind with His voice, helping them recognize that they are not alone and that He is guiding every step. This awakening can also bring a wave of peace that seems to settle in places that once felt restless. Seniors may notice that worries don't grip them the same way, and fears lose some of their power. The awakening begins with noticing that their spirit feels more awake, more alert, and more connected. For many seniors, prayer becomes deeper during this time. This is not because they try harder, but because God draws nearer. They may find themselves praying not out of habit, but with genuine expectation. Their prayers may feel more focused, more heartfelt, and more aligned with God's will. Jesus uses this week to show seniors that their prayers are not only heard but powerful. Their intercession carries weight because it comes from decades of faithfulness and resilience. This awakening turns prayer from something they do into something they feel, an intimate conversation that brings comfort, clarity, and strength. Seniors may even begin to see small signs or answers to prayers they made long ago, reminders that God's timing has always been perfect. Another part of this spiritual awakening is the activation of spiritual gifts. Many seniors assume their spiritual gifts were strongest when they were younger or more involved in religious activities. This prophecy shows that gifts do not shrink with age, they evolve. Seniors may experience heightened intuition, clearer discernment, or sudden insight into situations that used to confuse them. They may be able to sense when something is spiritually off, when someone needs encouragement, or when God is nudging them to act. Some may experience deeper compassion or a sharpened ability to speak words that bring healing or direction. These gifts are not new. They are gifts that have matured over time and are now ready to be used in simple but powerful ways. This awakening also brings emotional clarity. Seniors may confront thoughts or memories that once caused fear or sadness, but instead of feeling overwhelmed, they feel guided. Jesus uses this time to bring understanding where there was confusion, closure where there was uncertainty, and peace where there was unrest. Emotional healing is closely tied to spiritual awakening. When the spirit becomes more aligned with God, the heart begins to release old hurts. Seniors may find themselves forgiving people they couldn't before, letting go of guilt they've carried for years, or accepting parts of their past that once felt unresolved. This emotional release makes room for spiritual freedom and joy. Relationships may also shift during this week. Seniors might feel a deeper empathy for others, a stronger desire to listen, or a renewed ability to speak with patience and understanding. Spiritual awakening softens the heart, making conversations more meaningful and connections more authentic. Family members may notice something different. Even if they can't explain it, the senior seems calmer, wiser, more grounded, or more confident. This change is part of the spiritual glow that comes with awakening. It influences not only the senior themselves but everyone around them. Spiritual awakening also reinforces purpose. Seniors may realize that God is still using them, still guiding them, and still speaking to them. They may sense that their journey isn't slowing down spiritually, it's deepening. They begin to see that wisdom, experience, and faith have shaped them into vessels God can use in profound but gentle ways. Their presence becomes a source of reassurance and insight. Their words carry weight not because they are loud, but because they come from a heart aligned with God's will. During November 2026, seniors may experience a renewed hunger for God's presence. They may wake up with a sense of gratitude, end the day with a feeling of peace, or encounter moments that feel divinely timed. Jesus uses this period to draw them closer, reminding them that spiritual growth is lifelong. There is always more to discover, more to learn, and more to experience. This awakening is not temporary. It is a shift that opens the door to a deeper, richer walk with God. The prophetic message for November 2026 comes with a deep sense of hope, direction, and assurance for seniors, offering a message that touches the core of their emotional and spiritual journey. Many seniors carry silent worries about the future. Questions about health, family, stability, and the unknown. This prophecy comes as a divine response to those unspoken fears. Jesus highlights this week as a turning point where seniors are invited to walk with renewed confidence, knowing that God has gone ahead of them. It is a reminder that they are not walking into uncertainty, they are walking into divine preparation. The days ahead are not empty or unpredictable. They are guided, protected, and filled with purpose. Hope is one of the most powerful parts of this message. Seniors often reflect on their lives and wonder what remains for them. They may feel the weight of years lived and wonder whether the future holds enough joy or meaning. This prophecy pours fresh hope into those spaces. Jesus reveals that hope is not tied to age, physical ability, or circumstances. Hope is tied to His presence. During this specific week, seniors may feel a subtle but profound uplifting within their spirit, a sense that things can still change, a sense that blessings are still possible, a sense that God is not finished writing their story. Hope begins to replace discouragement. Expectation begins to push out fear. This hope is not naive. It is a spiritual confidence that God is at work even in areas that seemed still or stagnant. Direction is another major part of this prophetic revelation. Many seniors reach a stage of life where decisions feel heavier. They may wonder what to focus on, how to spend their time, or how to navigate shifting roles within the family. Jesus uses this prophetic period to bring clarity that may have been missing for months or even years. Seniors may notice a clearer mind, a more decisive heart, or a stronger sense of inner guidance. They might suddenly know what to prioritize, who to reach out to, what habits to release, or what steps to take next. This direction is gentle, never forceful, but it feels unmistakably divinely guided. It brings peace instead of confusion. It brings confidence instead of hesitation. It helps seniors step into the future knowing they are following God's lead, not their fears. Assurance is perhaps the deepest blessing of this prophetic week. Seniors often grapple with uncertainties that younger people may not fully understand. Questions about mortality, legacy, physical strength, emotional stability, and the well-being of their families. Jesus speaks directly into these worries during this week. The message is simple yet profound. They are held. They are seen. They are protected. This assurance wraps around their spirit like a warm covering, reminding them that God has not forgotten them and never will. They may feel an unexplainable sense of peace, even in the middle of unresolved situations. They may feel comfort in areas where they used to feel tension. Assurance does not promise a life without challenges, but it promises that they will not face those challenges alone. This prophetic message also brings assurance about God's timing. Seniors who have been praying for years, for healing, for family restoration, for breakthroughs, for financial relief, may feel renewed faith that their prayers are not ignored. God's timing may have felt slow, but this week reveals that He has been aligning things behind the scenes. Seniors may feel a deeper trust that something good is coming, even if they cannot see it yet. This internal assurance becomes a shield against anxiety and doubt. It anchors their heart in God's promises and helps them walk with quiet confidence. Part of the hope and direction given during this week also comes in the form of divine alignment. Seniors may notice small situations unfolding in their favor. A conversation that brings clarity, a solution that appears unexpectedly, a family member who reaches out, or a personal realization that brings peace. These moments serve as reminders that God is actively guiding their steps. Even if the changes seem small, they carry spiritual significance. They show seniors that God is moving pieces into place and preparing a path specifically designed for them. In this prophetic period, seniors may also feel assurance in their identity and their future. Many worry about being a burden or being forgotten as time moves forward. Jesus uses this week to replace those fears with the truth that they are deeply valued. Their presence matters. Their prayers matter. Their wisdom matters. Their life story matters. This assurance becomes a healing balm, soothing insecurities and strengthening their sense of self-worth. Seniors begin to walk with their head held a little higher, knowing that heaven recognizes their significance even if the world overlooks it. Ultimately, the message of hope, direction, and assurance transforms how seniors see the days ahead. Instead of feeling threatened by the future, they begin to feel expectant. Instead of feeling uncertain, they feel guided. Instead of feeling alone, they feel accompanied by a loving God who has planned every step. This prophetic week becomes a reminder that the best moments in their spiritual journey may still be unfolding. They step forward with peace in their heart, strength in their spirit, and renewed faith that God is leading them into a season filled with meaning, comfort, and divine purpose.